Hey, what's up? I was just playing around with the chart here, looking at some fibs, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. Uh, Bitcoin dollar. Yeah, I was watching Socrates on his Socrates streams. I was just watching him over there. I just put it on hold because I was looking at some things that on some fib levels and wanted to look up a chart. So I thought I was playing around with this chart here. By the way, go out and give Socrates some love. Go out there, like his channel, check him out. He's going through a lot of different things. He was just talking about some EMAs and on how to trade those, and he's kind of talking about his trading strategy. So go out there and learn something. I think you probably can get something from him. He's a pretty good guy. Uh, my chart: Bitcoin, dollar, 1 day, BitMEX. I was just messing around with fibs here, but a couple of things in the mind of my craziness that I do when I look at all my fib levels. Uh, all the blue fibs are the ones that are in the bullish move. The red ones are going to be the ones that are in bearish moves. But I'll go through each one individually. So because I know there's a lot on this chart, but I just want to go through each one to kind of get a gist of what I was thinking here. Uh, this is kind of the area of all this consolidation that we're looking at. We started down here at a low when it dropped there at about 74.39. We kind of got a rally up to 13,854. The market dropped right down to the 61.8% level at 98.90. Held there. Went a little bit further on a wick here, but found some buying interest and bounced. ADX was the ADX is the indicator I have on here just to kind of give a little bit of a validation. The ADX was increasing. The bulls are in control at this point, even though the market was dropping, but the ADX was falling a little bit. But it was still in a this whole zone right here is still strength for the bulls. So that gave a little validation that this 61.8% level could hold. Just looking at the next leg up, we started at a low of 96.43. We worked our way up to 12.8ish, somewhere right around there. Actually, get that right, kind of off the high there. So it actually went to 13,193. And it worked its way down here. The 61.8% level looks to be about 10,990, right around there. As you can see, it hit support here, hit support here, hit support again, and then it broke through. And then psychology is if you're a buyer along this line and everything gets hammered by the sellers right here, you're going to retreat and you're going to go, oh crap, where do I set up camp? Well, you kind of want to look back to the previous low because as you get into this area of very little support, so this is going to be the area that I think buying interest would come back in. And the market started to drop again and made a full retracement and even traded a little further. In the meantime, this is right when this broke on the 61.8% level right here. This is when we were getting the crossover on the ADX where the red negative directional index was crossing up through the positive. So right there was our first signal that the bears might start to get control. Now what happened is yeah, they got control, but the ADX stayed well underneath. I got this dotted line right here, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But it's been underneath that for all this time, and that's why we're getting this sideways action. So after it made the full retracement, let's take the next leg. We got 907, what is 9077 up to 11.1. Dropped down to the 61.8% level right here, broke through, went down to almost, yeah, just about the full retracement right here. So again, if you were buying it and got hammered here, you might want to get out, rebuy at this point. And again, the ADX is really low, so a lot of sideways action. Now, right at this point, the bulls started to take over momentum, or I mean trend, and the momentum just started to build in here, but it wasn't really getting super strong. And that's something to consider too, because on this low at 91.17, it started to rally up to 12.3. But as it started to come down, the 61.8% level was right here at I think 10.3, right around there. And as you can see, the bears are crossing at this point. So as this was reaching the 61.8% level right in here, uh, the you know, the bears are starting to take over, so there's a little bit of a signal that this could drop. But this is the interesting thing that happened. It broke the 61.8% level here from this low into this high, but it did not retrace all the way back. So right here, with the bears taking over and the ADX really not getting any action, this right here is my first signal that I like that the that this consolidation is starting to lean toward a breakout to the upside. Now this is just something that I look for. I don't know, it's just something I've done over the years. When things don't reach the trend line here for confirm, that's a little bit of a bullish signal. But again, the ADX stayed really low, so it didn't really get us a lot excited, for the bulls to break out because the bears were still elevated for trend. But here's what happened next. 94.68 all the way up to the high of 10.9. Came down here to the 61.8% level. As you can see, it consolidated here, broke, and then it retraced back down to the previous low. So what happened is even though it's trying to be bearish, there's just not enough trend to keep the bears going. So even though it came down here, the price did wick down a little bit lower and touch that trend line, but every time it closed above that previous low here. So right there is another signal that that the bulls could start to take over. Well, now we're on this leg right here. I don't know where this one's going to end at the moment. I mean, if we do a Fibonacci on this at the moment, if this is a current high, you're talking a hold of 98.95, and that could be kind of significant, but that's something that we got to find out if that's going to be the high or not. But right now, one thing I do like is that the bulls are starting to take back over trend. Unfortunately, there's not enough momentum, and I'm waiting for that to happen to get this thing going. But here's a couple other lines that I have on here going the other direction. Actually, one other thing, as this was coming up right here, one of the reasons that I liked this to hold, like if you took a Fibonacci going the other direction, and you if you're going off of this move right here, you can take the move at this point. Now this is supposed to be red because it's going the other direction, but the 61.8% level is right here. Yeah, it wicked up right here to where it was finding resistance, but it was the next couple of days that held that line and didn't close back above the 61.8%. It didn't really get any closes above it, and at the same time, what was happening at this point right down in here was that price was coming down, so the bulls were losing a little bit of control, and the ADX was starting to flatten out, so it wasn't really getting a lot of momentum. So this little gap in here was a sign that it should drop. So this was the signal that, okay, we're in this consolidation going toward the apex of whatever this pattern is, most likely just a little bit of a triangle type coiling into the apex. Nothing fancy, it's just that these are just support and resistance guides as we're watching at the moment. Now, a couple of last fibs here going the other direction. First of all, you take the high here at 10.9, worked our way down to this low at 93.24. As you can see, it's kind of hard to see here. Let me take out this one. I'll leave it in there. This high and this low right here. If you work your way up right here to this 61.8% level at 10.3, the market has already closed above it for one day, closed yesterday, and then this is the new candle that just started a few minutes ago, this little red right here. So one thing is we've busted through this 61.8% level. If we stay above 10.3 today, or this new day that we just started, then the full retracement should come into play at 10.9. So we should work our way back up to 10.9 if the support holds. And you got some moving average support. You're getting ready for the 21 to cross back up through the 55. So you got some things that bring some buying support on dips right here. Now another thing is if you look a little bit further out here for this leg of 12.3 all the way down to the low, the first level that I look at is the 38.2% to see if it's going to hold here, and it didn't. It broke through, so it already broke through the shallow fib, so that brings in the 61.8% level of this high and this low, which is at 11.1, and I'd really like to see this zone up here get tested between 10.9 and 11.1. But without momentum, this line's not going to break. You're going to find a lot of selling interest up in here. But if we start to get some momentum for some buying interest in here, that's what I want to really see as a break of this trend line. So right now it looks like we're going to consolidate between 10.3 and 11.1 in here. And then hopefully we'll get some buying interest as price approaches here and we bust out of this thing. That's why I put this little red arrow right here. This 11.1 level and this trend line right here. And the reason I started the trend line here is because this is right at the point where consolidation was starting. It was the break of this right here and the switch right here, and the ADX is dropping. So this is kind of the start, the high and low start that I'm looking at for this area of consolidation in here. So I like the intersection of this line at 11.1. I really would like to see some momentum and a bust through to the upside there. And once that happens, I think we can get and this is what I'm hoping would happen because that's the way I'm positioning myself. But if you take just a quick measurement, nothing fancy, if it broke out around here, or even if it broke around the intersection, just say it works its way sideways and then it breaks around this point, maybe mid-September, you're looking at 15K right around there. Now if it breaks out right away and we start to get some momentum and everything gets crazy, you're looking at 5.5 or so. On this break, or 15.5. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. I know there's a lot of fibs on here, but I'm just playing around with charts, looking to see where there's support and resistance, some signals where the bulls are starting to take control of trend. Even though the trend's flat still, I do like that the bulls are starting to show some initiative by getting above the moving averages, getting above some of the Fibonacci lines that I'm looking at. Now we just need some buying interest. So any news? Come on out there. Let's buy. Let's get out there and push this thing. Otherwise, be very careful. If this does drop back because of the lack of momentum, this line could be very vulnerable down here, and a break of this level and a new low below 9100. And I mean, we're probably talking 7 handle. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm a little bit more bullish once we get out of this consolidation after we're done coiling into the apex of this thing, and we're going to launch to the upside. So, all right, I've talked enough. Any questions, comments? Let me know. I'm out on Twitter at FiboSwanny. Just DM me, ask me any questions, and and if you really feel free, I got a tip jar. Follow the notes down below. Give me a tip. Nah, I'm just kidding. You don't have to. It is in there, but I do this for free. I volunteer my time because I really like to do TA. I've been doing it for a long time. So I really just want to share with others and learn from others. So go to Socrates, go out to Eric Crown at the Crown Crypto Cave. These guys know their charts. They know their stuff. You're going to learn a lot from them, and hopefully you can learn something from me too. All right, have a good one, and happy trading, and peace out.